Hang on, Scotty.
Come on! You know I got ya! Yeah!
What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to a Wednesday edition of the Ysn Power Hour, proudly brought to you by our friends over at the Toyota of Warren dealership. Make sure you get over there. If you are in the market for a new car or a used vehicle, make sure you tell them YSN sent you and that you're so grateful that they are proud supporters of the YSN Power Hour. We got a great show for you. We have the guest, the special guest, the secret guest that is going to be revealed, the fourth guest judge for the YSN All-Star Slam Dunk Contest this Sunday is revealed right here on this show just in a few moments. You don't have to wait much longer. And then, of course, we will have one of those very guest judges on the show, as he is every Wednesday. Scotty Mincher will join us, and we will talk about all kind of things. We didn't even have time in the pre-production to talk about what we're talking about, so it's going to be a surprise to me. We talked about my hat. Scotty's all geeked up about my Pirate Stars hat, so I have no idea what we're going to be talking about. It'll be a surprise to me, too. That by itself is must-see streaming. But without further ado, we are going to introduce you to the 4th out of 5 guest judges, the YSN All-Star Slam Dunk Contest. Here we go. Welcome in, everybody. DJ Yoakley here, and we've got a great surprise for all of you. We've been unveiling the guest judges for the YSN All-Star Slam Dunk Contest this Sunday. Scotty Mincher, our very own Scotty Mincher from YSN. Madison Tromler from Channel 21 WFMJ, the 6 o'clock co-anchor. We've got from Storm Tracker 21, Mr. Andrew DePaulo, and of course, the Cardinal Mooney alum. And at this time, we reveal the 4th of our 5 judges. Ladies and gentlemen, a guy that I know and love, have looked up to both figuratively and literally for a very long time. Ladies and gentlemen, the former heavyweight champion, or no, I should say middleweight champion of the world. I guess now he's a little bit heavier, so he could probably do the heavyweight, but we'll talk about that and how you can avoid it. Ladies and gentlemen, Kelly Pavlik, what's up, buddy?
What's up, man?
I'm just
that was
saying,
a beautiful intro to the end. You know,
I flubbed it. But
well,
but
yeah,
you know
you told everybody about me putting weight on, and you know, it's just
This is how it goes. But we're going to talk about how people can keep the weight off. That's the
I'm
beautiful
insecure
thing.
about that.
Insecure. You're the guy that always calls me your action figure because I'm that much smaller than you.
You're not. You're not. It's just, times have
Kel,
changed.
we love you, buddy. I can't thank you enough for being part of this. I know everybody's excited to have you sit and talk about slam dunks. I mean, you have been a slam dunk of a celebrity, of a guy that promotes work ethic here in the Valley. For you to be able to once again take part in something that benefits youth sports and people here in the Mahoning Valley, what does that mean to you?
It's big, and it's a little different away from. I mean, I do strength conditioning, and then obviously boxing as well. And I train all kinds of different athletes. A lot of basketball players I actually work on. So for me to be a part of it and see everyone out there and with something to do and competing and going at it and working their best, it's going to be fun. That's what my whole program is about right now. Is 4th through 12th grade, and to be able to and get the athletes in there and even boxers, which are obviously athletes. And I think this would be cool. It'd be something a little different. Be interesting to see some of the dunks and how that all turns out, and just watch everyone have fun.
As someone who has entertained the masses for years and years and years, what kind of tips or tricks would you give to the guys that are going to try to put on a show for you on Sunday?
I would say try to do something different. Maybe work on it and practice it so you execute it on Sunday. But sometimes judges see stuff that if it's kind of new or it seems like it's a pretty hard obstacle to get over. To me that wins. A lot of these new ones. We could touch on this a little bit, and some people get mad, but I think the Dominic Wilkins Jordan days are kind of done. I mean, some of these dunks I see anymore is it's just amazing. So you got to be very creative, I guess, is another thing. Some of these guys could jump, and for high schoolers to be able to dunk, that's a heck of a feat itself. But if you're getting a bunch of them out there, you got to be creative.
I'm excited because you, my friend, you've been in the spotlight for so long. It's a little bit different when, like, you're talking about practicing these dunks and doing it with nobody watching, and then you look at an entire gym full of people that are watching your every move. How do you kind of block out the excess noise, if you would?
As hard as you try as best. It's really hard to practice for that, and hopefully some of the games, throughout the year, playing in front of, all the people, they got kind of used to it, but you're never going to fully be able to block them out. Sometimes you want to feed off of the fans and the audience. So, you just got to kind of stay in your zone, I guess to say, and focus on what you're going to do. But it's tough. And it's that's part of, being an athlete, and even the other athletes that elevate their game, is being able to handle the pressure and the audience.
You've got a young one that plays basketball. I mean, what kind of advice do you give him going into a team game as opposed to an individual sport like boxing?
Everything comes with experience. Everything, and it was really his second season playing basketball, and I told him, don't get down on the games. If you have a bad game or even a good game, I said, don't get in your head too much, because the biggest thing, and you see it with boxing and sports, when kids mess up, they really get hard on themselves and they come down on themselves, and they're still young. And I don't care if they've been playing football since the peewees. Is when you get into high school, it's all a learning experience, especially if you're going to go on to the next level. So I always tell them, just sit back, reflect on what happened, keep it in your head, so that way you can improve on it and make yourself better. The minute you start letting your emotions take over, and you get in your head too much, you're going to forget everything that just happened, whether it was good or bad. So the big part of that is just stay strong, and take every part of sports, whether the physical, the mental part of it, and just use it as an experience. If you get run over, it's the physical part, right?
Yeah.
Use that as an experience. If you mess up on a play, remember it, go over it in your head, and give yourself time to be able to realize what's going on. And again, that's where the term experience is a big term in sports, and it's true. Experience is everything with athletes.
I'm really interested because I mean I know what's going on, but a lot of people have tried to keep tabs on you throughout all the years from the championship. Well, even when you were an amateur into the championship years, and now onto your I want to call it adult years, but you and I both are not in the adult ranking yet, at least mentally. So
No,
from a
I
standpoint,
don't. I don't plan on growing up. I'm going to stay a Toys R Us kid. You know,
you are always.
I may age by through appearance, but you know, my maturity level will stay young.
I love it. Tell people what you have, but you've got going on. I mean, you've got a lot of irons in the fire right now. But some of the new things that your nonprofit gym that has been absolutely killing it. People just all over the place. The looks, the aesthetics of it are phenomenal. Obviously, you still have your gym in Columbiana, and you got some other things going on with some fights. Let's start at the top with the new nonprofit gym. Talk to me about that, how that started, and how it's going.
Yeah, so the new nonprofit ties in a little bit with the Columbiana gym. The Columbiana gym is fitness center. You know, weights is almost like your Planet Fitness or YMCA. But I have 47 between 47 and 50 some kids in that program in Columbiana, which is free to them, fourth through 12th grade. And I back during the summer I bought another gym, and I opened it in right around October. And it's all boxing, and it's in Boardman, Ohio. And I got probably over 50 kids in that program right now.
Wow.
And yeah, and every day I'm getting handfuls of new kids, and so yeah, spread very thin between the strength conditioning and bouncing back and forth. Um, yeah, but it's going great. The kids are loving it. They linger around after boxing because they just love being in a gym, and they socialize with all the other kids. You know, the big thing there is you can kind of kick your team spirit out the window at the boxing gym because you're a family once you're in there. You know, whether you're from Poland or Canfield or Boardman, or if you go to East and Cheney, there's no rivals. There's it's all one big family with the boxing, and they all get along with and they mix it up and talk, and it's pretty cool. So yeah, the boxing gym, and I run that at 5:30 to 7:30, and I got homeschool kids at the Columbiana gym for strength conditioning. I got a wrestler and a couple of track kids that I train early in the day, and then by 3 o'clock I'm there till 5 o'clock, and then I hurry up and get over to Boardman for the boxing.
For you, why is this so important? Why this has been something that's been on your heart for a long time, as long as I've known you personally. Why was this so important for you to pull off and do it right here in the Valley?
Because first of all, I was always a gym rat. And not really by choice, you know what I mean? But because it was part of what I did. Strength conditioning, people don't understand. Strength conditioning is everything in any sport. It really is. And if you can't get yourself into physical shape and condition, it's going to be hard to execute the X's and O's that you try to learn. So it's very, very important. It's one of the biggest things in sports, and so I always had a love for strength conditioning too. A lot of people just go through the process, and even if they have personal trainers, they kind of just go through with it and then do their thing in the ring. As where I was kind of always a student of the game, and a student, just open ears, open mind, and learning. So strength conditioning has always been big to me, and I love doing that. So, I wasn't. I didn't go to school to become a lawyer or a doctor. So I figured, you know what, let me stay in the gyms and train athletes in general. I'm real big on that. And then obviously the boxing, it was a no brainer that I was going to open a boxing gym and become a boxing coach as well. And eventually the main goal is to have one main facility in Mahoning County where I could do the strength conditioning and boxing while having the hubs and still being able to get out to those, as much as possible, and having the employees and personal trainers that are under my tutelage and under my workout regimen, be able to provide that for the kids. So it's something that I've always kind of wanted to do. But also when you start talking about the young kids, with the athletes, in my program I have counseling services. Going to be providing counseling services and tutoring, and that's another big part because if the kids ain't performing in school, we got to find some form of punishment. I don't want to kick kids out of the program because that kind of defeats the purpose of what I'm looking to do. But there has to be some form of punishment for not getting good grades or getting in trouble. And I think that providing these services with the tutoring and counseling for the kids is a huge part as well, to be success stories. Not every kid's going to go to D1 school or D2. Not every kid's going to be a world champion boxer, but I want the success stories coming from these kids. And so again, I guess with everything that I've been through with my career and just being in a sports world, and then on top of that, putting structure in these kids' lives, it's a very big and important part that I really want to be a part of, and I'm striving to make my program be one of those top programs in the country.
Oh, without a doubt. I mean, if anything that you touch turns to gold, my friend, you, for a lot of us, especially in our generation, you brought boxing back to Youngstown, to the Mahoning Valley. You got people interested in it. They were living for it. Every fight that you had. Now that you're on the, I guess, Balboa side of being Rocky Balboa, talk to me about kind of the next generation of boxing. Who's going to bring it back once again to the Mahoning Valley and showcase this? Who are some people we should keep our antennas up for?
Well, you got the girl fighter Zion that I trained, and
yeah.
and I've pretty much had a big part in her career, from the time she started boxing. Before I got to boxing gym, I did all the strength conditioning for Z. I've been doing strength conditioning since she was probably 9, 10 years old. And she's also performing in track. She's beating high school times, seniors in high school, and she was doing that in the 7th grade. And obviously, this past year in the 8th grade, she has. But Zion she just won her 5th national tournament last week. She's a really sharp fighter. A lot of things to work on. I don't always just tell her how good she's doing because you can't in the sport. Nobody learns from that part of it. There was a lot of bad habits she picked up from not knocking the other trainers, but being at the other gyms. It's just sometimes trainers don't really know what to look for, and so that's a big thing right now. Is he is still a work in progress, and we always got to work hard because she's the top fighter and everybody's going to be gunning for her. And but I would say right now she's the one to definitely look out for. um I got a couple of other young kids right now, though. For the most part in my program, it's a lot of green kids. There are just a lot of brand new kids coming that want to do boxing. And I got a pro fighter that came over, but for the most part, yeah, they're all young. And that's the part where trying to sustain the gym right now, working on just getting the for-profit part going for boxer size, so I could keep going at this route with all these kids. And eventually I'm going to have to get into another time slot for the boxing gym just to break up the amount of kids in there at one time.
Obviously, not everybody that goes in your gym is going to be a world champion or necessarily wants that to be part of their plan. So what other people are you seeing, or do you hope to see walk through the doors, and kids walking through the doors to take part and just learn a little bit about boxing, and if nothing else, just get a great workout?
That's a great point you made. That was a little surprising because I said when starting this charitable organization that I want to just keep boxing at one location because there's just more kids in other sports. So the strength conditioning, I'm going to have 2 hubs in Trumbull County, 2 hubs in Columbiana County, and then just one main facility in Boardman that will have boxing and the strength conditioning. But boxing would only go into Mahoning County location. And surprisingly, the boxing, like I just said, is I mean, the kids are rolling in to box, and I just I can't get over it. It's crazy. But you're 100% right. There, some of these kids, as soon as boxing is a different sport than any other sport, and I've played other sports, and I'm not knocking them. It's just a different sport. And a lot of these kids, they're going to get in there and they're going to spar one time or fight, and they're going to say, you know what, I'm not doing this. So I want to keep them in the program, especially if they're at risk or underprivileged. I want to keep them in the program. So a big part of that, and I think why the main facility is going to be important, is because they don't have to box. They can go over and do the strength conditioning. And if they're in another sport, they can get ready for that, their specific sport. There's, again, that counseling, tutoring programs will be available if the kids need it. So that's going to be a big part. That's one of the big things that I looked at when starting this charitable organization is not every kid's going to want to box. And there's going to be more kids for the strength conditioning than boxing. So it's a big part. And, I don't want to kick them out if they're not going to be a world champion boxer. If I don't feel that if I feel that they're not slick enough or good enough with boxing and they're going to take punishment, I will tell them, hey, listen, you can still come in, this program's still available to you. You could work out with the other kids and do, you could box in that spar and just do the boxing workout, or you could go do strength conditioning and, hopefully have other things at the facility that they could do to occupy their time.
And on top of all of that, you've got fights that are coming up that you've been building diligently behind the scenes and giving people opportunities to get out in front of people and literally throw hands. What kind of things do we have to look forward to in the next few months from you?
So not throwing a pity party for me, but it's been taxing with this.
Oh, yeah.
Charitable time, financially, just buku money right now going out of my pocket for it. And I've been fortunate. I've had, been talking with state reps and some lobbyists and different people. I got a grant writing team I had to bring on. Eventually going to work on, the for-profit part of the boxing gym, the boxercise classes for women and men, older women and men that want to come in and get a boxing workout in and get in shape and learn how to fight without having to actually fight. That's going to be a big part in help sustaining, these gyms. So I am also putting on a fundraiser on May 11th at the Metroplex in Liberty. And it's going to be an amateur boxing show. I did one back in November, and it was successful. We had probably about 500 people there. This one, we're hoping to get a little bit more. It's a bigger facility, and we're going to put on good shows, a good fight. And, we're looking for sponsors. Tables will be up for sale this week if people want to purchase a table for the fights. And I'm working on putting a card together right now, getting all the kids from my gym, which is Boardman High School. We got kids from Poland, 2 kids from East that are going to be on the card, one from Western Reserve. So it's going to be nice. And these are going to be the things that kind of help until the grants start coming in. That's going to help keep this program, running.
Outside of seeing you on Sunday nights at the All-Star game for YSN, how can people get a hold of you if they want to sponsor, they want to buy a table? How can they get in touch with you?
They can call 330-565-8665. That's the gym phone. Or they can come by the boxing gym at 5:30. I'm there 5:30 to 7:30. Give or take a couple minutes. I'm running from Columbiana to Boardman, but my wife's usually in there. She's been a huge help. She comes in and she keeps the little kids busy with a agility ladder or push-ups or sit-ups and keeps them all in a group, which I definitely need, because if not, they're running around swinging from every piece of equipment in there. And it's just funny. I laugh at it. But she keeps them in order. So she'll be there. If I am running a little late, she's there getting the kids ready. So yeah, they can come in, they could donate to the charity or to the, for the fight. They could, if they want to buy a table. Right now I'm just doing cash or check for the tables. $400 for a table of 8, which turns out to $50 a person. And then the rest is $25 general admission. And I will have the sponsorship packages up on my Facebook by the end of the week.
We're looking forward to it, man. You can count YSN on whatever you need. Thank you so much for helping us and taking some time out of your day for today, and obviously on Sunday as well. We're looking forward to having you, man. Kelly, Ghost Pavlik.
Thank you, bro. I appreciate it, and I'll see you Sunday.
We believe expectations are made to be exceeded. At the new Toyota of Warren, it's about more than just getting a great deal. It's about service you can count on and a friendship you can trust. Year after year, we've done what we do best. We've gone the extra mile so you could too. Because we know it's just not about buying a new car. It's the start of a new adventure. Toyota of Warren, driven by you.
It means the world to me to know that what we're doing is impacting people. And whether it's simply, I got to watch my son or daughter when I was out of town, or we just love watching YSN, we love what you do for our son or daughter. So whenever someone says thank you or someone is appreciative of what we're doing, it tells me everyone at YSN is doing what we initially set out to do, which is shine a light on these athletes and help them kind of promote themselves. My name is Anthony Hartwig, and my sports network is your sports network.
And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the YSN Power Hour, brought to you by our friends over at Toyota Warren. DJ Yoakley, Scotty Mincher joins the show. Special thanks to Kelly Pavlik, our 4th of 5 guest judges this Sunday. Scotty, you're one of those guest judges. When you heard Kelly's going to be a judge, when you got to hear Kelly speak just moments ago, what did it mean for you? How excited, how to the moon are you, my friend?
I'm definitely in space right now, in orbit, because it's gonna be just so much fun. I'm so excited. We actually, when I was in high school, had like a pep rally for Pavlik, and it was right before his fight with Jermaine Taylor. Because he did go to Lowville as well as the MCCTC. So I've met Kelly a couple times, and it's always like I'm always like giddy over it, and just being a world champion from Youngstown, like Ray Mancini, who I know through family as well. It gives me goosebumps every time. It never gets old, and to be able to be a judge with him, and it's really an honor, and it's something. Man, sitting next to a world champion, that's pretty special.
Well, I know he thinks you're pretty special as well. Had a chance to talk to him, as you saw earlier today, for a few minutes before we even went on the air, and I was telling him who the judges are going to be. He's geeked up. It's such what people don't understand about Kelly and don't register at all is Kelly is one of the most humble human beings you're ever going to meet. Everything that Kelly Pavlik does, that I've known him, as long as I've known him, I should say, he's always put other people first, and that's a special trait, especially for somebody that's brought home gold at whatever level. You know what I mean? As somebody that's been successful at whatever level, to be able to be that humble and again, just put people before himself. It's a special thing. So I'm excited for Sunday. Naturally, there's still a lot of work to be done. One judge will be revealed before Sunday. And I think you're going to want to know who that guy or gal is as we get closer to the event. Sunday night, you can get your tickets at the door, $10 for adults, $5 for students. And the youngsters get in for free as long as they are wearing their spirit gear. I mean, we want to support these kids, whatever communities they're from. So wear your jerseys for your team, school, or your community, whatever it is, especially if it's supporting local business. We love that. We love that, Scotty. We love supporting local businesses around these parts. But come on, come all. Let's fill this place up and let's build some beds for the folks that sleep in heavenly peace. All right, Scotty, what is on the agenda here? I know we got an abbreviated show, but what's on the agenda to talk about today?
Yeah, so I was thinking, I wanted to throw this at you, and it does kind of tie in a little bit to even, the revealing of Kelly as a judge. And I was thinking about his career today on the show and how going into that Jermaine Taylor fight, I think his trainer said like Pavlik was overrated and a bum, and said he was going down. And then we all know, and he almost did go down. I think it was like second round. He almost went down, and then he used that great reach he had to his advantage, and before you know it, he was the middleweight world champion. But I guess off of all of that and people that have kind of defied the odds, or teams, athletes that have defied the odds, and knowing that it's March Madness this week as
Oh,
well, I wanted to get your thoughts on maybe some of the biggest upsets or underdogs, like locally in local sports history. It could be a certain game. It could be teams, athletes, but that's what I wanted to get into today, I guess.
that's a good one, Scotty. And I've got props for mine. See if I can get it out. It doesn't come out very often, but I can't get it out. There we go. I can't put it on that. I guess my fingers shrunk since the last time I put this on. But as far as the ultimate upsets go, it doesn't get much better than that one right there. The old South Range State Championship. That is a terrible picture, video representation of this beautiful ring. That that little school in Canfield, Ohio, on the outskirts of North Lima, going up against some of the biggest, baddest schools that you would ever imagine. I mean, when you're playing some of the schools that they played, and everybody's going to say, well, they didn't play Kirtland. They played who they needed to play, and they beat who they needed to beat in order to put the old gold ring on. The old Henry Rowan Gardner championship ring at the end of the year. I will sit here and I will tell you till the end of time that might be the most destined team that we've ever seen on YSN. From the way that they were coached, to the way that they played, to all the hops, the bounces that went their way, the timely possessions, the years and years and years, and I mean this with all due respect, the years that went into this one team of destiny. Scotty, to me, that is the biggest underdog championship of all time. Second, no surprise, is the South Range baseball team in the state championship. Nobody knew who the hell South Range was that wasn't around this area, right? Until the South Range baseball team once again put everybody on notice in 2018. So between the state championship in football, the state championship in baseball, I gotta, at least for me personally, the biggest underdog stories that came out with a championship at the end, a viable championship, one that's a tangible championship, were those two South Range stories. I mean, you couldn't think that I was going to go anywhere else, right? Like, you had to know that I was going to bring up the South Range Raiders, if not one, then two of them.
Well, I know, and not just as a coach, but as a person as well. Dan Yeagley, like I know enough from talking with you that he's like one of your like heroes.
He is. He really is. And he and I talk very often. Tough week for Coach this week. Thoughts and prayers with him as he lost somebody very special in his family. And you know, it's never easy. But and you know what's funny about this whole thing? We were actually discussing it about a month ago. Is when Dan and I met, I guess for real, right? We've known of each other. You know, obviously I knew what Dan did through going to high school and the program that he was building. And just the profound impact that he had on everybody's life. He's one of those coaches that everybody remembers. Everybody remembers, whether you play against him or whether you play for him. He's a coach that everybody remembers. And he and I really hit it off when YSN started. And he was an advocate this entire time. And, there's people that will put that on the internet and, on certain websites and message boards, and it's they want to make it a bad thing, when in reality it's one of the best things that's ever happened to me. Dan Yeagley and Kelly Yeagley have become two of the most special people in my life, to the point where they've become father and mother like figures to me, even though they're nowhere old enough to be, it feels like. But when I lost my mom, they were the ones here. Dan and Kelly both were the ones that were looking out for me, making sure that I was okay, making sure that I could kind of function. So like when we talk about people and people in high regard, the Yeagleys and so many at South Range are in that world for me, which is why we are who we are and why we do what we do in the Oakley family, and why South Range is so special to me. I had zero connection to South Range prior to 2017. And Dan Yeagley and Kelly Yeagley are a huge part of why things are going the way they're going. And because they believed in me, and they still believe in me, and my family and my wife, and what choices we make, and we bounce. It really is. And I know I'm being long-winded here, but it really is one of those unique situations where they always look after us. I mean, Dan will just text me out of the blue and tell me he's thinking about me, and he's making sure I'm okay. He's a very unique human being, and yes, to say he's my hero is an understatement. And Kelly's in that same realm too. So, yeah. I mean, to see. I was very emotional when South Range won the championship, because I knew there was a really small chance that was the last game that I would ever call, that my hero, Dan Yeagley, was standing on those sidelines. And that turned out to be the case. And he deserved to go out that way. And it was a great story. And it'll be a great story forever. One that I'll tell Z, and hopefully he carries on with him, and I can tell my grandchildren, and hopefully, God willing, I can tell my great grandchildren someday. So yeah, I mean, amazing underdog stories.
And it's funny because last week on the show you were asking me like who I would want to. We got on the topic of who do you want to team up with if you could play with one athlete, and who would coach. Um, Also, would you want to play for, and things like that. And it was a lot of fun. But after the show, I was thinking, I'm like, man, I didn't mention Billy Skirpak. And I was sitting on that all week. And it's funny that you brought up, even though I knew you were gonna go with South Range, but he's definitely one I forgot to mention last week. So yeah, he's another one that would be at the top of the list as far as football goes.
Oh yeah, Billy. We got to check in on Wild Bill, see what he's doing. I think he's down in Tennessee, if I'm not mistaken. We'll have to check in on him, see where he's at right now, and hopefully he's down there playing baseball. So hopefully he's doing that. We'll have to check up on him. What about you, Scotty? I mean, you are a local feeling. I feel like you're a local encyclopedia when it comes to stuff that happens. In the championship caliber things. Where do you rank things, and what are some of your top stories locally for underdogs?
And I don't want this to sound like it's a cop out answer, but it's just one of the first, like, really real sports memories I had when I first started getting into sports,
Yeah.
and that is the 1999 Poland Bulldogs state championship team.
Okay.
I knew they were really good, but it was one of those things like, I'm like, are they gonna actually do it? Or are they gonna win this title? And just seeing the community and how they rallied around that team in '99, and my cousin, he was a kid. He was born a couple years after me in like '91, and then his brother, and they were really little, and those guys were like heroes to them. And I'll never forget just the energy of Poland during that time. Um, Another one of my favorites, again, I don't know if you would necessarily call it uh, upset, but the game, the national championship game in '97, when YSU, when they won 10-9 in that one, and it was a great defense most of the game. YSU with the only touchdown late, the game winner, when they were able to win that one. I that was the first time I really understood how important that team was and how big Trussell was. That was the first time I really realized it. So I put that YSU '97 team in there, and even the teams after, even though they didn't win a title, but the teams they had with Adrian Brown is at running back. He was one of my favorite athletes to watch when I was 11, 12, 13 years old. So there's a lot of them. I also love the Hubbard team. I know it didn't end how they wanted, but I love the team with LJ Scott.
Mm-hmm.
Just the way they were able to um, just run that ball, and they were just tenacious. They played so hard, and I really thought they were going to win the title. They came up just short, really. They weren't far off, but that's another team, Hubbard. Before I was fortunate enough to join the YSN family, that I really kind of latched on to that season. But
You know what's funny, Scotty, is the underdog stories don't always end up with championship gold or confetti flying, but sometimes it's just the story in itself that draws people like you and me to these teams. And two teams that I can remember growing up here in Columbiana County in 1995, my math teacher was actually Mrs. Salimas. And if you know that name, it's because her husband is the longtime coach of the Lisbon Blue Devils. Now I think he's back on staff with the Lisbon Blue Devils after a few stops elsewhere. Jim Salinas. And Jim Salinas led the 1995 Lisbon Blue Devils to the state championship, which was the last state championship, 1995 in Columbiana County. So when you think about, um, obviously, underdog teams, nobody really thinks about Lisbon when it comes to that. And there's such a rich tradition with Coach Meek taking over this year in Lisbon. He wants to get back to that. But I remember if I recall correctly, Mrs. Salimas was in school. We were in math class, and she was listening to it on the radio, like obviously diligently, because there was a lot on the line for her. Excuse me, rooting for her husband, and being a young sports fan, the coolest days that I ever got to experience were days that we could push whatever we were doing, right? Math, science, history, whatever, for current events, specifically sports. So I'll never forget the days like that day where the state championship was being played and it was on the radio. And because it was early in the day, right? Same as they do now. We were listening to it and we didn't do a lick of math that day, which I was all for. But being able to know that they won the state championship and it meant a lot to her. And there was one kid in East Palestine that was invested, at least for that day, in Lisbon football. But that that escalated me into like 1997. Okay. My real start to being obsessive with sports was that year. It was professional wrestling. It was the 1997 East Palestine Bulldog basketball team, TCL champion, Andy Pink, Aaron Reich, Brennan Harvey, guys like that made up that championship team. And I just obsessed over the big center, number 40, Andy Pink, because he was tall, he was big, he could do things I would never be able to do, like dunk a basketball. And I just remember being obsessed with him in 7th grade, thinking, this dude probably going to the NBA. Probably go to the NBA. Might not even go to college. He's going straight to the pros. Obviously, I was wrong, but I had a shot in my mind. He had a shot to go. And the sharpshooter from the side in Aaron Reich from beyond, that team was the best. And you couldn't tell me that team wasn't going to win a state championship. Now, I think they got bounced in Canton, if I remember correctly. But what a ride that was. And we went to every home game and we went to every away game in the playoffs and anything that involved the East Palestine Bulldogs at that point, I was all for. And that was the beginning, Scotty, of a long slide for me into the sports world, and not just playing it, but just being a fan that led us into this, what we're doing now. Being a fan of kids that are 20 years younger than us, even more. And, I love being able to look at them and say, wow, what you're doing isn't normal. It's phenomenal. And to be able to root for these kids, these youngsters that are 14 to 18 years old going into college, it's special. It's special. And to be able to remember their stories forever and to chronicle them forever, it's something that I wake up every day and tell everybody I know how excited and how blessed we are to do what we do.
Yeah, it's we really truly are blessed, and it's something I've been trying to keep with me every day. Is every day is not always going to be good, but you could get something good out of every day. At least that's how I look at it.
Not every day is going to be great, but you can find something great in every day. There's no doubt.
Yeah. So it's one of those things, and sports, again, to me, DJ, I know we've talked a lot about this and had a lot of great conversations. Like, I get upset when people say that, it's just a game and, it's just sports and this and that, because in a sense, like, yeah, there's always things that are going on and things happening in the world that are obviously more important. But for me, it's always brought me together, closer to my family, closer to my friends. It's just been an outlet that I'll never be able to have the same sort of. It really is like a great vice. It's the best advice I could think of when I'm going through, struggles. I just sports just makes me happy, and
Good.
it's one of those things. Like, yeah, I know there are things that are more important, but to me, it's up there, man. Like there's not many. So
So let me ask you this, Scotty. You're going to be watching March Madness without a doubt, right?
yes.
Okay. What's one team that you want to root for? Probably is a long shot to win the whole kit and caboodle, but what's one team that you would love to see win this thing?
One team I would love to see win the thing, and I know it's a long shot, and they got a tough draw their first round matchup, but I'm gonna go, and they won a great tournament championship game in the MAC tournament championship. I'm gonna go with the Akron Zips.
The old Zippers.
Yeah, I I thought that game had great theater. I felt bad for Kent State because um, the player, his name's escaping me now, but he thought they were up one, and he thought um he thought they were um no, he thought they were down one. I'm sorry, and he fouled the opposing player, but they had a 1 point lead, and then Akron was able to make the 2 free throws and win the game. So it was a gut wrenching way to lose, but um, Akron, they played really hard. I think they could be a team that's a sleeper, a big long shot, but I think they could wreck some brackets at least for sure.
I'm hoping that the Duquesne Dukes wreck some brackets. They start with BYU, I think. And man, would that be a nice. They haven't made the tournament since 1977. Their coach retired, said, "Hey, after this, I'm done." I'm rooting for it, man. I'm rooting for them. I'm rooting for I think it's Long Beach, where they fired their coach before the season. They couldn't find anybody, so he had to finish the conference tournament. They won the conference tournament. Now they're dancing. This dude is playing, or is coaching rather, without a contract. The guys have rallied around him. What a story for this guy. I mean, how far can they go? What if they win the Natty? Does this guy get his job back? Does he even care to get his job back at this point?
Yeah, I mean, that would be, man, that would be something that's Long Beach State.
That's what it was, Swinney. Yeah, that's what it was.
Because I would like, and I think they have a famous. I think like Steven Spielberg maybe went to Long Beach State.
How do you know that? How would you know that, Scotty? What kind of weird? Like, I know you're an encyclopedia, but now you're starting to act like radar.
I thought you were gonna say Ty.
Oh, that too.
Um,
I've never seen Ty and radar in the same room.
yeah, well, I don't know. I read it somewhere. I think it was Long Beach State, but yeah, they were another one, another school I would love to see it, but it's like I don't know, is it gonna happen? Is McNeese State, but
Ooh,
um,
who do they
well,
have?
I just looked at it the other day, and now I'm like blanking on who
I
they
can't.
have.
This is one of my favorite parts of the year, Scotty, because March Madness, WrestleMania, opening day, then we got the whole summer of baseball, and then we have obviously the NFL football, where the Pittsburgh Steelers have two quarterbacks on their team ready to take hold of an AFC North championship and win the first game in the playoffs since what, 2016, something like that. Like it's gross. It's gross. It's disgusting. But I sent you, as soon as it went official, I sent you a nice little picture of Justin Fields and Russell Wilson shaking hands because, my friend, I can't wait. I can't wait. It's been a long time since I've been this excited about Steelers football.
I gotta say, I still think the Browns are gonna be great, but I'm a little nervous with the Steelers, what they've been able to do. I like the prospects of Fields right now a lot more than I like Russ, but at the same time, I think Russ. I don't think I'm like giving you a bombshell here. I think he's much better than Kenny Pickett. And you saw they were still able to, get in the playoffs. I know you could say Mason Rudolph contributed, but most of that season, Pickett was a starter, and they still got in the playoffs. So the Steelers, they're I don't know how high their ceiling is, but their floor, I mean, it's not they they're never really bad. Even last year, a lot of Steelers fans thought they were really bad, and they had all those stats, getting outscored, outgained, but still making the playoffs. They found a way. But I got to tell you, DJ, I know we're just about out of time here, but what is low key terrifying to me, and I know like it's just rumors, speculation going around right now, but if your Steelers somehow would sign Brandon Ayuk from San Francisco to go along with Pickens and Jalen Warren and those quarterbacks, that is quite terrifying. We'll see if it happens, but
they've got a way of getting receivers. I wouldn't count them out. It's a deep receiver draft. If they can get Ayuk for little, right? Because he's got, I think, a 1-year contract left. And then they do a sign and trade or something like that, and they keep that nice second round draft pick. Oh boy, oh, the little 3-headed monster with Russ, Mr. Unlimited. Oh, and listen, I like Fields too. Don't get me wrong, but I think that he can get seasoned behind the 3 brand. I think Russ is ready to win right now. I think people are down on Russ, and that's fine. But one thing I've asked every single person that cuts down, whether it's Russ Wilson, whether it's Justin Fields, I've asked them, do you think that the Steelers could have beaten the New England Patriots last year with Russ Wilson or Justin Fields? The answer has been yes. Do you think that the Steelers could have beaten Arizona with Russ Wilson or Justin Fields? The answer is yes. Do you think the Steelers could have won another game? And they say yes, most likely. That's 3 games, Scotty. That's 3 games right there. That puts them in the thick of things and possibly the 1 seed in the AFC. So what I'm saying is, I don't care if Russ Wilson or Justin Fields is playing. I just care that we're winning. And I think they've kicked a lot of those guys out of their locker room. Chooks Okorafor, or whatever the hell his name was, doesn't do his job, complains about, what the coach's decisions are. He's gone. Deontay Johnson, gone. See ya. He was he was on the first train out of town. And then you got Kenny Pickett, who apparently did a lot more damage in that locker room than anybody thought. He's gone.
Yeah.
I don't think, like, everybody's talking about Tyler Boyd. Tyler Boyd has had I don't want to say he's a locker room cancer, but he's a guy that's had problems in the locker room in Cincinnati, and he's been very open about how he feels about Pittsburgh and then the Steelers in general. I don't think that Omar Khan's going to bring that guy in after you kick 3 of those dudes out. So we'll see. Ayuk, there's smoke, there's fire, Scotty. He's tweeting Mike Tomlin. I don't know. I would love it. I'm not going to give up the world for it. So we'll see. We'll see. We got Mike Williams would have been a nice signing, but he wants to go play with Aaron Rodgers, which I understand, for 4 plays before Aaron Rodgers ruptures his Achilles again and goes on the ganja journey or whatever he does every year, or runs for vice president or whatever he's going to do. It's going to be interesting, but things got way more interesting in the AFC North, and in my world specifically have been very interesting and very fun, something that the Steelers never do. Like, we're never even in on the free agency frenzy, and they sold a lot more tickets this week, Scotty. I'll tell you that. Let's get to our What's Your Spark presented by Joe Dickey Electric. Everything electrical, everything you need, go to DickeyElectric.com. All right, Scotty, what's your spark?
Okay, my spark is going to be short and sweet, literally sweet. It is my spark. I don't know if you have tried it yet, DJ, but if you have not, I give it my seal of approval. I know we're both big foodies, and we've talked about drinks before. My spark is the new Coke Spiced. I do not know if you've had Coke Spiced, but it is like Coke with it's some kind of spice in it, but it's also like a raspberry flavor. I think it's pretty fire, but so that's what
Coke
I'm
spice.
going with.
I'm gonna have to try it out.
Spice.
Is it Coke Zero spice, or is it just straight up? Is it diesel? You got all the sugar in it.
No, it's got all the sugar in it.
Oh, of course it does. Look at you. Look at you.
You might be able to get the zero.
Oh, if they got Coke Spice Zero, I'll try it out. I might try it out anyway. Just don't tell my
I've also been drinking Mellow Yellow the last few days, and I'm like, man, this is
the poor man's Mountain Dew.
The Mountain Dew knockoff.
Well, I'll tell you what I've been drinking, Scotty, and you've probably seen me downing it during this show. Now, I watched the New Heights podcast. I'm obsessed with Pat McAfee, as people know, but this popped up on the New Heights podcast. For those of you who aren't familiar, the Jason Kelsey and Travis Kelsey podcast. This popped up, and I gave it a shot. And they're not great salesmen. It's called Accelerator, and it is the flavor of Rocket Pop. They do not advertise with us yet, but I will tell you that this might be the best. And it's an energy drink, but it's zero sugar. It is so good. It tastes like the Rocket Pops, like the bomb pops that we used to have when we were kids. So good. And it's got so many great things going for it. And again, I am not being paid to say that. That is just that good. It has been doing wonders for me. So hopefully somebody out there sees it. It doesn't charge you up. It's not one of those things that's going to put you on edge. It's just got great energy, clean energy that I've been able to put out, especially for what we do here at YSN. It has been a lifesaver for me. So Accelerator Rocket Pop energy drink. Try it. I get mine on Amazon. So check it out. Not cheap, but it's worth it, especially if you're looking for a little bit of boost in the 3 o'clock to 4 o'clock hour like I am. Any final thoughts, Mr. Mincher?
I just wanted to say hope everybody enjoyed the show today, and I wanted to say I cannot wait for this All-Star game. I've been talking. I talked about it a lot with Anthony on Running Point, but of course I'm excited to be a judge for the dunk. But the 3-2-1. I think that's gonna be a lot of fun as well. So, man, last year was great. Also, DJ, I saw your post recently. Those shirts are fine. It seems like the shirts get better and better every year. I love those too, man.
Shout out to my boy Dan Penza over at 5-Star Graphics in Girard, who does an awesome job. I give him an idea and he takes it and runs with it. Scotty, that's going to do it for us today. We will see you Sunday, and hopefully everybody sees us Sunday in person. High fives going all around. Again, YSN All-Star Game. It all kicks off 5 o'clock with the girls. We'll conclude with an 8 o'clock game with the boys, and a lot of fun in between. Slam dunk competition, 3-point competition, 3-2-1 competition, all for our friends over at Sleep in Heavenly Peace. For Scotty Mincher, I'm DJ Yoakley. We'll see you tomorrow on the YSN Power Hour, brought to you by Toyota of Warren. YSN, thank